Bitcoin gets denied. And I'm not talking about getting denied by a little company. I'm talking about one of the biggest in the world says, screw you, BTC. What about XRP as a commodity? Yeah, the House is going to be voting on it and talking about it on the 10th. I've got the deets for you. And if the Clarity Act goes through and makes XRP a commodity, it makes it more enticing for companies to add it to their reserves. Ooh, juicy price action? Well, we'll talk price action along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And I've got the purple background on. What do you think of the color? Do you know why I've got the purple background on? Because guess what, everyone? Yep, that's right. 46,424 subs. We beat Papa John's. But before we get into the crypto news, your comments come first. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. A few days ago, Mart HRM dropped support on the channel and said, yo, I'll pay for your pizza. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and supporting the pizza. Last night, Trick said, yo, I'll drop some support on the channel and pay for a pizza. Trick said, I'll take a 14-inch boiled bacon and cabbage, Pepsi Max, mashed potatoes on the side. Dude, watch the cholesterol, my guy, but I love the flavor choices. Thank you, Trick. Thank you for the support, and thank you for the emails. Love Derive One drop support on the channel and says thank you. Thank you for the support, and you're welcome. I love bringing you the news, whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad. Flakeem2346 says 46,400 subs. Better crypto, better news, better get you some crypto with Klaus. Congrats, Klaus. Well, thank you. That was actually the first message that I read this morning. People have been asking me who's next. I've got my eyes on the White Sox. They're at 48,700. The problem is the White Sox are really good at losing, and I would rather have it be a food company that I take down next so that we could celebrate together with food. So later today, I'm going to get some Papa John's pizza. We're going to celebrate. I didn't want to eat it for breakfast, okay? So if you can find a food company that's got around 48,000, 49,000 subs, comment it down below. And we'll take them down next with your help. Bitcoin sitting at 104,419 ETH. It's 2542 XRP at 216. We're going to talk price action at the end. Why? Because the Clarity Act would make XRP a commodity. And the reason players are buying BTC as a strategic reserve is because BTC is the golden pass, because BTC is a commodity. ETH, who gives a shit about the rest of it? It's red because of Trump and China tariffs. Let's get into BTC getting rejected. That's right, Meta, ooh, one of the biggest companies in the world, says no to BTC reserves despite mounting institutional adoption. Meta Platforms, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, who both track the ever-living shit out of you on your cell phones, has voted overwhelmingly against the proposal to diversify its corporate treasury into Bitcoin. This signals that big tech remains cautious about adopting the top cryptocurrency. Look, I got the votes right here. According to the document shared on X, the shareholder motion received just 3.9 million votes in favor, 4.9 million votes against. Oh, this vote follows a proposal from Ethan Peck, a Meta shareholder, earlier this year. Peck called on Meta to convert a portion of its cash and bond reserves into BTC, citing growing institutional adoption. Oh, we don't want to miss out because everyone else is buying. We don't want to miss out on the FOMO. Well, guess what, girlfriend? The Meta voters said no. BTC got denied Dikembe Mutombo action. Now let's get into the Clarity Act. I shared a video last night about it, and guess what? I'm sharing a little bit more details today. The Clarity Act takes center stage and throws the SEC-CFTC feud into focus. Why is this important? Because look, if crypto is designated as a security, there's a lot more hurdles that these companies have to go through. If it's designated as a commodity, companies can very easily add it to their strategic reserves, just like you would gold, just like you would oil, just like you would BTC. Remarking on the same in the statement on the 29th, May Hill said, I'm proud to introduce the Bipartisan Clarity Act with my colleagues. Our bill brings a long overdue clarity to the digital asset ecosystem, prioritizes consumer protection and American innovation, and builds off our work of the 118th Congress. The three Democratic lawmakers supporting the bill were Angie Craig, Rich Torres, and Don Davis. Oh, this came from French Hill. That said, the bill's language broadly defines, and this is where you need to pay attention, right? This is where I throw you the deets in the middle of the video, so you gotta pay attention. You can't just skip around, okay? That said, the bill's language broadly defines digital assets. intrinsically linked to a blockchain system as digital commodities, provided they're primarily used to transfer value within that system. Think of XRP, think of XLM, I hate to admit it, think of TRX, think of ADA, think of Sol, right? You get my point, okay? This sweeping definition potentially brings nearly all major cryptos under the CFT's commissions purview, which is cool because that makes it what? A commodity. However, there's a catch. Assets that qualify securities remain the SEC's turf. Oh, okay. Now, Stuart Alderati is like, yo, this is great. Why does Stuart think it's great? Because it makes XRP a freaking commodity then. That is what we really freaking need. Trust me, you don't want it as a security. You'd rather have it as a commodity. This is what Stuart said. By the way, this is all linked in the description below. A big step forward. The Bipartisan Clarity Act builds on the momentum for the comprehensive crypto rules in the U.S. Clarity shouldn't be controversial, and this bill moves us closer to a smart, workable framework. Thank you to Representative French Hill and a bunch of other people out there. Pretty neat, everyone. All right. Now let's talk about crypto and what's going on price-wise. First things first, volume, 132 billion. Pretty good for the weekend, but the problem is, the reason volume is good is because there's been a sell-off. So exchanges are making money on people selling their crypto. BTC dominance, this is not good for us altcoin season fans. Why? 17 out of 100, which means only 17 cryptos out of the top 100 right now are beating BTC in price over the last 90 days. That's not good. Essentially, what does that mean? BTC is holding its value better than the rest of the market. Now, let's take a look at XRP specifically. Why? Because some of you out there have been commenting on what your buy zone price is for XRP. And quite a few of you actually have been saying that you buy XRP at $2.10 Well, guess what? You were able to buy XRP yesterday. By the way, XRP weekend volume right now, 3.3 billion in the last 24 hours. So, very strong trading activity with XRP. And remember, we got XRP Las Vegas going on, which, if anything big happens of worthwhile note, I will share it with you. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. And remember, I know, I want to beat the White Sox. I'm a huge White Sox fan. But I would rather beat a food company so that we could share the food together. Trust me. Everyone beats the White Sox. This isn't going to be hard to do, but I would rather beat a food company. All right, let's go to some candlesticks, everyone, and you know what we're going to do. We're going to go with the 15-minute version right here. Why? Because we want to see how low did we go. Check it out. A low of 207.94 on this candlestick and a low of 208.02. So we're right there at the 208 mark. Now, we've slightly gone up since then to the 215 mark. But remember, we're waiting for China to snap back because Trump said, yo, no more Mr. Nice Guy. China, you violated our 90-day reprieve when it came to tariffs. So now we're waiting for the response back from China. If China responds back with something negative like, all right, cool, we'll just slap a 50% tariff eroni on you. We'll give you 75%. Whatever China says is going to send the markets on down. What will that do? That'll bring us right to that $2 price action, if not a little bit lower. Now, if all of a sudden the two powers come together and they agree on something, well, that's good. That'll definitely send the markets green. But look at the trend as I zoom out here. Ever since we hit that 265 twice and the big sold off, we have had some heavy downside pressure. And it's been based on what? Tariffs and Jerome Powell. So a lot of macro pressure weighing on the markets. But the big news is this right here. Tariffs, China. Violating the temporary agreement. We're waiting to see what they say in response to Trump. If we get a naughty, nasty response from China, we're definitely going into the buy zone. We're going to definitely leave the friend zone and go to the buy zone. But what's your buy zone, okay? We've been talking about XRP, all right? Look what happens when we go to the day chart, okay? Ever since November, okay, things have changed for XRP. I think a lot of players before can now admit $2 XRP is the 50 cent of XRP of yesteryear, right? What was 50 cent XRP pre-November 2024 is now the $2 zone for XRP. So where's your buy zone for XRP? Is it $2.10? Is it $2? Is it $1.90? For me, I look at things sub $2. I think sub $2 is a good stacking point because I think time and time again, if you wait, you've been given that opportunity. And it seems we pretty much get every month. December, you've gotten a few opportunities. January, you've gotten some. February, you've gotten some. March, you've gotten some. April, you've gotten some. But May, we haven't. And today's the last day of May. So maybe we'll skip May and maybe we'll get some buying opportunities in June. But the good news for today is what, everyone? Is if the Clarity Act goes through, and now here's the deal. They said they're going to try to get this done by August recess. Yeah, you heard me correctly, August. If it goes through, that would make XRP and a lot of our favorite cryptos out there a commodity, which would allow companies out there to stack XRP like they're doing with BTC right now because it would be given the golden pass. So what do you think of the purple background? Kind of reminds you of the Jerome Powell tie when he does the FOMC meeting now, doesn't it? Oh, maybe I'm doing a little bit of hidden message riddle action, aren't I? No, I'm not doing that. I can't be that cringe like those people on Twitter, right? But for real, this is something we got to start talking about. You got the stablecoin bill in the Senate, and you got the Clarity Act in the House. Both are going to take some time to pass. So please don't think that any of this stuff is going to happen overnight. Because here's the deal. Once the stablecoin bill passes the Senate, it's got to get sent to the House, where they then got to debate it. They got to do their revisions. And then once the revisions are done, if there's major revisions, it gets sent then back to the Senate, where then they debate those revisions. You see what I'm saying? It kind of goes back and forth. Now, the bill in the House, once that is done through the House and the markups, remember, it has to go through markup, okay? There's a subcommittee. Once the subcommittee approves it, it then goes to the full House vote. If the full House vote is cool with it, then that gets sent to the Senate. Then, if the Senate likes how that bill is written, then the Senate is like, oh, okay, we'll vote on that. Now, if the Senate is like, yo, we don't like how this bill is, we're going to modify it, then they modify it, vote on it, then that goes back to the House. Then if the House is like, yo, we're cool with this version of it, then they vote on it and then send it up to El Presidente. You see what I'm saying? We got a ways to go. Both bills right now, the players on the street, when you talk to the senators, when you talk to the House of Representatives peeps, they're saying, yo, we want to try to get this done by August. So we got time. And the problem here is if we're waiting until August for these bills, you know what that means. We still got to wait for the macros, which are big. We still got to wait for these trade deals, which are big. So now we're sitting here going, oh, okay, China, what are you going to do to us? And that's where we're at right now. So if you want buy zone, hope for China to snap back at us. If you want to stay in the friend zone, hope for nothing really to happen. If you want green zone and you want juicy profiteronis, hope for a permanent agreement between the U.S. and the U.K. when it comes to tariffs. And if you want super green zone, I'm talking about maybe touching $3 XRP, maybe, right? Maybe probably closer to like 275, 285, somewhere around there. Then you'd be looking for an agreement between the United States and China. Yeah. A little bit of end of video price prediction news, because come on now, you could always go on Twitter where they're calling for XRP $10,000 by Friday. Thank you everyone for helping me beat Papa John's. It was not possible without your support. So seriously, I greatly appreciate it. The subs have been amazing. The views have been amazing. The month of May has been amazing. And guess what? The month of June is just going to be better. Why? Because choo-choo bitches, girlfriend.